Hello everyone and welcome back to another YouTube creative series. I haven't really been doing many of these, so I'm back and I will continue doing this series more often. Last episode we talked about main channels and how to use them, and now we're going to use that knowledge, and I'm going to show you how to use different types of zones inside of Fortnite Creative Mode. Zones can be used in many different ways. There are currently 4 different zones that you can choose from. We're going to talk about the sequencer last because that's a more advanced zone. First off, we're going to be talking about the barrier. Now, the barrier is actually just pretty self-explanatory. It's a barrier, but if you can, it's not only a barrier, but you can also customize what it looks like as well to make it whatever you really want. So you can have it just as pure texture, you can have it be a force field kind of thing. It could be many things, and you can even make it like a space kind of galaxy type thing, which looks, in my opinion, really cool actually. Now, there's other things to just this. There's also if the base is visible, which just means the actual device itself, if it's visible or not. Enable during phase, gameplay only. That means that when the game starts, it'll enable, but you can put it to none, which means it'll never start unless it is enabled by a channel. All, which means, well, even though you put it all, that's supposed to mean that it is enabled, like, no matter what, but it basically, these other choices also kind of do the same thing as gameplay only. But it can block weapon fire, which means that when you shoot at it, it will block the fire, so it'll act as a wall, kind of. Like, if it's invisible, it'll still act as a wall when you shoot. It'll just shoot through, but, like, you also can't go through. But if you put it no, your character can't walk through, but bullets will be able to pass through the barrier, so that's pretty cool for, like, shooting range kind of games. Also, you can make it zone shape. This is what people use for box fights, and I can show you an example of one of my box fights maps later in this video. But making it turn hollow means that players will be able to stand inside and acting as like a barrier from within, so they cannot walk outside unless it is disabled. But they also can't walk inside from out. So, but because if you don't put it on hollow, then when someone spawns inside the box, it will just glitch them out. So you also want to put hollow when doing box fights, and I'll again show you an example. Again, you can also change the size and the width and all that. Yeah, that's pretty simple. And here we can interact with channels. It's basically just enable when receiving from and disable. Basically, you press the button. I will show you an example. So let's just get a button here. And just make it rotate. And with this button, we can put it so that first of all, let's actually make it a pattern so that we can actually see it. Let's just make it a red force field. There you go. And we can put the button, and then we will make interaction text disable barrier. And we'll put when interacted with, transmit on channel 1, meaning when it's interacted with channel 1, this will disable. Now, what's cool is that you can even enable it back too at the same time. However, in order to do that, what I'm about to show you guys is actually really useful to do, so make sure to keep this in mind. Have 2 buttons like this, alright? And then the enable one, always like keep this on, but disable when we're seeing channel 1. This means that when it's pressed, it'll disable it. However, if you go in here, this is going to be the barrier enable, so that when you press the button, it'll enable the barrier, but also disable its button as well. So instead of channel 1, put it on channel 2, and then put disable when it's on channel 2, because when you press it, it'll disable. However, because if these two are both activated, then it won't really work. So the enable button the disable button, should always be activated at first, because it's already, enabled. So if it wasn't, then it wouldn't be able to disable. So for the enable barrier, since it's already enabled, press disable. But we are going to make it enable when we press this button. But it'll just basically do the same. You'll see. I don't know how to explain it, but basically When you press this button, the barrier will disable, but it'll also disable itself, but enable this, because this will already be disabled. So it's just like a loop. I'll show you how it works. But first you gotta put it enable receiving from channel 2. So I'll show you how this works. Let me just start the game. And when we go over here, as you can see, there's a barrier, and we cannot go through it. But if you press this button, the button will disable, as you can see. The barrier will disable, and this button will be enabled. Then we can press it again, and it should cycle through. I forgot to put it enable when receiving channel 2. But that's basically it, and then you can have it like a toggleable button, which is actually really cool for some maps too. So we're going to go back and show you the next barrier that we're going to work with. And next up is the damage volume. Damage volumes are pretty useful for death runs, especially, but can be used for other things as well. Damage volumes are pretty simple to use. You can change the height and stuff to make it like perfect for where they want to, where someone wants to die, or where you want someone to die. Damage type is actually pretty cool to simulate a storm, if you don't know how to use the storm things, which we will go over in another episode. You can either put it elimination or damage over time, meaning that it'll tick however much damage you put right here over like time, and you can change what the tick rate is. So it could be 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, So it can make it so that when they're in here, it'll take 10 damage over per 2 seconds. So that'll be pretty cool to simulate a storm. So you can make a safe team on this, meaning that you can select a specific team that isn't affected by the damage volume. We can also put shield damage, meaning that when you walk into it, it'll skip, it'll go straight to your shield. But if you put it off, it'll be just like a storm, where it'll skip the shield and just go to your health. Affects creatures, meaning that if it'll affect zombies and, well, yeah, that's only creature. Players, yes. Vehicles, it'll affect vehicles, and unmanned vehicles, meaning if it'll affect vehicles that don't have anyone in it. And what's cool about these zones is that they can transmit a channel when someone walks into it. Now, this is actually one of the best things I've ever added, because you can make it say something or do something when they enter. So I'll give a quick example of that. I'll just get a HUD message device, for example. Grab this, and we're going to say that you are in the zone, as if it's a storm. And we can put, for now we can put all, but if you were doing a, like Zone Wars type of game, and this was your kind of storm thing, which we'll go over something else like this, because the sequencer is another good zone thing. But for now, we're gonna put this at triggering players if you want it to be a specific player, but it doesn't really matter for me because I don't really have anyone else. Put both of these off. Wait, no, don't put that one off. Put timer from round start off, and then put 5-second delay time. Display time. Well, actually no. We could put permanent so that when they enter, it'll say it, but if they leave, it won't say it. And then we can have just a red text, meaning its importance, it's priority critical, top sensor, and for here, we're going to show when we're receiving channel 1 and hide when we're receiving from channel 2, because we're going to make it so that when a player enters, it'll go to channel 1, but leave, they'll go to channel 2. This means that you can both make something you can make something happen both when entering and when leaving, which is honestly really cool. So let me show you how this works. So as you can see, we can see the zone now. You can disable that if you really want to. If you enter, it'll say you are in the zone. If we exit, it'll go away. Now, I don't know exactly how much health I have because I turned that off. So yeah, if you stay in there for too long, obviously you will die. So that's how the damage volume works. Alright, now that we're done with that, we can go on to the mutator zone, which is actually personally my favorite out of them all. The mutator zone is actually a zone where you can choose specific areas to allow building or allow weapon fire. You can put these both yes, both no, but it's really good for areas where you like just want people to not attack each other. So keep that in mind when using this. This is probably one of the easier options. You can obviously put it visible if you want, change the height. Now you can also choose what it affects specifically, and so the channel parts of these are probably one of the cool, because not only does it transmit when you're entering and leaving, it also can transmit when you're emoting, which is pretty awesome, because I never really expected them to even care about if someone really emoted them in creative. So having the ability to check if someone is emoting is probably really useful. No, not even probably, it is. So that's crazy. And the pickup lifespan, you can make it so that when something is dropped, so an item on the floor is dropped on inside the barrier, you can choose when it gets destroyed, meaning like it just gets deleted. So you can have it destroy immediately, basically meaning that when you drop it, you're not getting it back. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and you can choose what your time up to 30 seconds, or you can just put it infinite, which is it won't delete. So I'm gonna put it at 5 seconds so that you can see. Actually, I'll just put it immediately so I won't have to wait. Now, we're gonna test out the emote feature, but first I gotta put it visible so I can know. Alright, so basically all it is just you just have to connect it to a channel if you want something to do. So let's say that if you're emoting, then you can let's just first get an HTTP message device, but I would like to let's combine the message device with item granter and show you guys that you can do many things with just one little channel thing. So I'm gonna have it say nice dance moves. So how about that? Then we have to put triggering player so that it'll only say it when the person dancing, or when it'll only say it to the player dancing. So make sure to always put this off kind of from round start when you're trying to have it from a trigger. So remember that. Display time, we're gonna have it permanent, obviously, and make it disable when you're not dancing. Text style, we just have it blue. Why not? And top center, because why not? Now we're gonna have it show when receiving channel 1, but hide when receiving channel 2. When you dance, it'll receive on channel 1, but when you're not dancing, it'll go to channel 2. It's pretty simple. So let's put it like that. And let's just make this make sure to put these settings. I'm not gonna give anyone like a gun, but I'm gonna put grant item when receiving from channel 1, and we're gonna have another item granter because I want it to remove the item when they stop dancing, just for fun. Now, obviously, you can't remove an item when you don't have an item in the thing, so I'm going to show you a little trick that I do to remove items. But first, let's just make someone get the... let's see, what should I give them? Let's just give them a jewel, because that's pretty cool. Put that in there. Alright. And here, I'll show you the little trick. So you need to put triggering player. However, the on grant action, this is how you can use the clear inventory feature, because you can give them something that's like not really useful. So I'll just give I'll just input a single bit of wood so that it's not that really effective. Like that. Oh, too far away. Let's do that again. Alright. So now, you want to make it so that when it's granted when receiving channel 2, but basically when you dance, you will get this item, but if you don't dance, you will clear your inventory or basically get that. So yeah. But for this one, we're just gonna put clear inventory as well. Actually, wait, no. Put keep all if you're gonna do something like this, because it might try to grant both items at the same time. So channel 1, channel 2. So let's test this out, see if it works. Also, before we go in, you can also do the same exact thing as if before we go in, you can also do the same exact thing, but with the channels being towards someone entering and leaving, like that zone over there. So we're gonna enter and see what happens. And nothing happens yet, but when we start dancing, it gives us a jewel, and it says nice dance moves on the top of my screen. Now, let's stop dancing. And as you can see, it takes away my jewel and it stops saying nice dance moves. So that's actually really useful to do. You can do lots of things with that, and that's basically how the mutator zone works. Alright, so now we're going to go on to the last thing, the sequencer. Now the sequencer, it can be used for many things. It can be used for music, it can be used for triggering other devices, it can be used for like death runs, it can be used for a lot of things. It's actually really useful. However, I'll just show you the basic stuff. For music, I'm not really good at making music at the game, but it's actually pretty simple. All you want to do is go to your galleries, and I like to use the filters. The music part is just right here. So you're gonna want to pick the music, and then you want to click Music Block Gallery, and then press Open, and then for music just press Equip, and then you need to go to your hotbar, and then you can just place this down, or just place it right here. Oh, okay then. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of tiles of music that can be placed, and I'm gonna delete this line because I kind of messed that up. Just give me a moment here. Alright, so as you can see, there are a lot of music notes to play with. Now, I'm not really good with music. I know a lot of people who are, but I just know that there's a lot. But as you can see, walking on these will play music. And if you grab one of these, and you can put them where the zone is in the sequencer, and you can make music packs and stuff like that. Now, when you press the button, it plays this. It just plays whatever music that you want to play. Oh, I forgot one. Now, this isn't the only option that you can work with. There are a lot of different things you can do with sequencer, and I'm going to show you a few more things. You can increase the speed of which the sequencer goes all the way up to 180. It's kind of like annoying to press this so many times, but I mean, depending on what you're using it for, it can be useful. I use it for death runs, and it's actually really cool to see it working. You can make it loop, so you can make it loop however many times you want. You can even make it loop infinitely, so that when you press it, it'll keep on going infinitely until you step on it again. Or, well, not until you step on it again, or just until you do that. So you can change the length, you can change the width, you can change the height, you can change zone direction. This is actually quite weird because I'd rather just keep it normal, but it's up to you if you really want to. So let's just keep. Oh, I think it was right. Nope, it was left. Sorry about that. Alright, so with the sequencer, you can also make it the activation type. You can either put send pulse, which just sends a pulse when you press it. You can also put toggle pulse on, meaning that when you press it, it'll keep on pulsing. Well, let's actually put that infinite for now. You can press it, and then it'll keep on going until we stop it. And the last one is toggle pulse play / pause, meaning you can press it, and then when you press on it again, it'll pause. But then when you press on it again, it'll play at the exact same moment it ended. So that's actually pretty useful for different mini games and stuff. Zone direction can be. Oh wait, actually I just talked about that. You can make it visible during game. If you're making a music kind of map, you should put this on so that people can know where the music is coming from. or if you just want it to be anonymous, you can. Disable activation while running. This makes it so that when you enable it, it won't be able to activate again unless a channel, stops it. It's literally impossible to do that. So, active when paused, meaning that when you pause it. So let's put it at pause/play. And I don't know, it's supposed to show where. Okay, there you go. So usually when this is happening, it won't do anything. But if you press toggle when, or what was it again? Active when paused. If you put that, then everything that walks into it will trigger a channel, meaning that if you walk into it and you have a channel set, or if like a device runs into it or whatever, it'll basically trigger anything that passes through it. So normally you wouldn't really want to use this because there's not many like devices that can move basically, but I mean, I guess it's kind of useful for damage volumes and stuff. So next up is post direction, and this is actually pretty useful. You can make it reverse, meaning that it starts the opposite way. You can make it go bounce, which means it goes and then it bounces right back, and then it keeps on doing that. And you can make it bounce or just go up from where it is. You can make it go down, basically opposite. And you can make it go up but also bounce, which is actually pretty cool. And you can also make it a damage level, meaning that when you walk into it, it'll damage you. So that's what the death run thing is for. You can make it very low, meaning it will do low damage, low, medium, high, very high, and then it'll insta-kill you if it's elimination. You can make it activate on certain phases, so when waiting for players, it'll activate. Countdown, it'll activate, and game start, it'll activate. So you can choose do that. You can make it a certain channel start or stop or resume the sequence. So you can specify when you want to start it without having to, jump on it. And usually what I use the sequencer for is death run levels. Now, it's useful because you can make the sequencer chase you, literally, because you can make it go really fast, and it's actually pretty cool. So you should play around with the sequencer and see what else you can do with that. Okay, so that was all for today's video. Next episode, I will try my best to go over like more of the managers. So that would mean, creature managers, that would be elimination managers and stuff like that, that'll help you, make better games. So I'll try to post a new video of these every single weekend or every single Friday. So make sure to subscribe and put the notifications on so you won't ever miss the video. And also, before we end the video, I want to thank everyone for 50 subscribers. I know it's not really that big of a milestone, but it is to me. Getting very close to 100, and my main goal is to get 1,000 so that I can publish my maps, because I would really love to show you guys some of my maps, and also just so that you guys can enjoy my content. So, like I said earlier, I am going to show you an example of how the barrier works, so let's go to that right now. Alright, so I've made a box fights map, and it's not really, too high-tech. I have quite, some, but these barriers are what I'm talking about. When I start the game, I will show you what I mean. Now, obviously I'm not playing with anyone, so it's not going to be like a actual match, but as you can see, these barriers will keep me inside. I can build inside of it like normal box fights, and when the timer ends, they'll disable and everyone will fight, and I will one punch everyone in the face and win basically every single time and never lose. I also have a storm too, so that whenever people go into the match, it will close in on them, causing them to go different areas. So yeah, I really wish I can publish this, but in order to do that, I have to get 1,000 subscribers, which is actually kind of, whack. So if you guys really enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you guys want to support me, please subscribe. It's always free, and you can always unsubscribe if you want to. So yeah, that was today's video. I will see you guys next time, and see you guys later.